But it's important for us all to remember that temptation in and of itself is not a sin. What we do with the temptation can be.
So, what tools do you give or help to build up in people you work with and Integrity Restored in order to overcome those temptations and change their behavior patterns?
So that's a great question, because one of the first things we can do, first of all, we recommend strong scientific counseling, because this is truly an addiction like any other: alcoholism, drugs, gambling, and you're going to need help. So counseling. The second would be an increase in your spiritual life and spiritual direction. And then the third is community and accountability. Now that's the kind of the healing process. But if you're hit with a temptation, here's something you can absolutely do. The first thing I tell people to do is pray. At that very moment, pray and offer that temptation to our Lord. He wants to accept it. The second thing is 15-minute active distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Get up from where you are, usually in your room or in your office or wherever you're all alone. Go somewhere else in the house. Be with other people. Go do push-ups. Go for a walk around the block. Play with the dog. It doesn't matter. Do something for 15 minutes that actively distracts your mind, and that temptation will have passed.
This is a great one. And I always say, I think we don't talk about this enough. I'm a mover. I was just talking to someone the other day. We have our birthing class tonight, and the poor people, like, we're not in person, so I have to sit in front of the computer for 3 hours at night and
brutal.
watch this class. It's horrible. And they want us to have video participation. I want to get up and walk around while I listen. Maybe want to stretch. Yeah. And so the poor teacher probably is so annoyed by me, my hyperactivity here. But I bring this up because we don't in general move enough. And for me, being someone who's a dancer, I am a Pilates trainer, like, physical activity is so important. And yet I see people struggling with temptations. And part of it is, I think we're just lacking physical exertion sometimes. I've talked to so many priests, and they talk about, how do we remain chaste and celibate? Well, having an active physical life is one great way. Whether you're a priest or a single person or married with a high sex drive, stay physically active. That helps you to have self-control.
Absolutely right. And I'll share a very personal story. When I was a young man, I went to a priest for confession that I knew very well, and I was struggling with masturbation, and I was talking to the priest about it. And he said, Jimmy, we were doing face-to-face. He said, Jimmy, every time you are struggling with that, drop down and do some push-ups till you're tired. You won't want to do it anymore. Well, honestly, I got in the best shape of my life. I'll say that. That is so true. Our brains, sometimes out of boredom, will drive us to pornography or masturbation or eating or whatever the habit is that we don't want to do. But if we get up and move and be physical and exercise and get that blood flowing, boy, it makes you feel great. It dumps endorphins, and you're not running to that bad habit.